Well, haven't done this in a while, huh? A few years ago, I used to make challenge videos for games I played. Some of those being my favorite videos on the channel. And one of those videos was my Ender Lilies challenge, where I beat the game with only consumable spirits. Well, to my surprise, a sequel came out earlier this year, Ender Magnolia. And after playing through it, I only had one thought. Can you beat Ender Magnolia without primary abilities? Now, what are primary abilities? They are your classic chain combo abilities, the abilities that, as the name suggests, you'll use to deal most of your damage. In this game, those are allocated to Nola, the first character you meet in the game, and another guy you meet much later in the story. But, as this game still loosely follows Ender Lily's mechanic of using the bosses as abilities, after every boss you'll get a new ability. And while they vary, none besides the two I mentioned are considered primary abilities. Oh, and I also lost some footage, so if you see me fighting an early game boss while I have level 70, just ignore it. And with this out of the way, let us begin. I woke up, and unlike the first game, we see that we can actually talk this time. RIP to the mute self-insert protagonist. Though, I wouldn't want to self-insert into this character. I'm not this guy. Soon after that, we meet our first homunculi, Nola, or our primary ability for the game. If I played this normally, that is. We come to an agreement and we proceed to the first boss fight. The first fight is really easy, as it always is in a 2D Souls-like game. And after we beat a child who's been experimented on, we use our magic hands to cure her, and we got our first ability, the Blazing Fist, which will be our only source of damage for a short while. Also, the challenge officially starts here. Since this game is more lived in than the previous one, we soon meet a trademark of a successful society, a child that yearns for the mines. We don't learn much from her, but we learn the whereabouts of the next boss. I explored a bit, leveling up and getting some charms to make the next fight easier. Then we get to the actual first boss of the run, Yolovan. He seems hard, but if you jump over the 3 shots instead of dodging them, he's actually easy as pie. His second phase, while it deals more damage, is way more traditional, ergo way easier. Also, why does this guy look like an anime character? Anyways, this will probably not be a pattern for the strongest abilities in the game. We got our workhorse for the run. Gun. Yeehaw! Love Murica! After this, we go back to the city, where we get the fast travel. This time, the fast travel is a doggo. A popper, if you might. A good old doggy. You like me talking like I'm Reddit incarnate, don't you? I also unlocked the craftery, where I'll be able to buy bracelets and materials to upgrade my guys. Bracelets being an addition to this game. They only give stats, so I'm not gonna talk about them. Just pick the best bracelets for your playstyle. HP and defense for a defensive one, or pure attack for an offensive one. Even though I'm older, I yearn for the mines as well. In the mines, I met a child who was even older than me, and has grown tired of them. In exchange for his freedom, he gives me his owl, our first auto ability. Not that strong, but hey, beggars can't be choosers. I beat up an innocent worker who works 12 hours a day. So, pretty much the minimum for a living wage in 2025. Now, there are two types of bosses in this game. bosses that give you a new ability, and bosses that give you materials. This was the ladder. And this is also the last time I mention this. From now on, if I don't mention my reward, yep, it's materials. With this, I can go and buy an actual main source of damage, the drill. This ability is straight up unfair in how good it is. It deals less break damage than the gun, but it can deal damage through shields. There is no other ability in the game that can do this. It's genuinely nuts that you can get this early in the game. I could have beaten the boss in this area, but I decided to go and get the parry first. So, I go to the area that looks like it would be called the Crimson Woods, but it isn't, and after some exploring, we get to the next boss, the Shackled Beast. The fight is quite easy, mainly because of what I just said. As long as you know its attacks, you'll be fine. If you don't though, you'll die in around 2 hits. Thankfully, I know its attacks. Also, this is the only boss in the game that has this upbeat dubstep electro-ass boss music. Everyone else has normal Souls-like music. With him dead, we get the second ability that will stay in my build for the rest of the game. And see, he doesn't look anime at all. We go back to the coal smell. Sorry, my inner child was a bit too happy to be in a mine. We go to the mines, and here we have Boss on a Flower Field number 1. It's funny, it feels like they watched my previous video. At the top of this area, I finally got to the obligatory boss on a flower field from every hard game. And decided to go, oh, you like bosses on flower fields? Here, have more. Okay, yeah, this is probably the best ability in the game. Normally when he uses this move, you'd have to get away from him and wait. But since the drill pierces through shields, you can stay close to him and you'll have to dodge only one rock. And if you use the parry properly, he'll be dead in no time. So, bosses on flower fields having sad backstories is pretty much a given, huh? After this, we go to the actual Crimson Woods, or as I like to call them, I hate this bullshit area. Oh my god, why is this so... Yeah, you can tell I hate this area. It's not even the enemies, it's the 100 teleporters and different ways to go. I literally had to check my other save file to see where to go. I hate this place. We eventually get to the next boss, Viol. God, I hate saying his name. He was the first hurdle of the run, and he really showed me how underleveled I was. Especially the lightning pillars, they were the bane of my existence. But we do kill him, and get an ability for the wolf. Now, we can smash with him through those blockades. This definitely violates some animal abuse laws. Since I was too weak, I spent my next hour exploring and buying things to make myself stronger. Mainly a carapace, which is just a built-in parry. Some of them having additional effects on parry, like the one that I got, which sends a shockwave on parry. I went to the other mine, where I found that child again. See? The children yearn for the mines. We also encounter our next boss here, a guy who clings to walls and throws stuff at us. Some of the said stuff being this bomb that explodes on impact and creates a field of freezing air. This being the single worst attack in the whole game. There are some other bosses that have it too. It's not hard because it's hard to dodge, no, it's terrible because sometimes you accidentally fall into it and melt instantly. Ironic, isn't it? Oh well, I guess we won, huh? Okay, round 2. Okay. I see. It's a 3-time fight, huh? Yeah, he's not much harder each time, besides his last phase, where he coats the whole floor in white. Clean up on aisle 5! Thankfully, after this, he's stopped by Yoran and his robot boyfriend. We also learn that we are a test tube baby, just like me in real life. Sadly, we can't progress yet, as the stench from the land of origin was too potent, but we did get the wall climb from beating Frozone. I go to where I truly belong, in the sewers, and I grave rob the ability to swim off of a woman. Then I progress down to some shit-filled sewers, where I fight a reactionary content creator. This is probably the easiest fight up until this point. Maybe besides the first fight of the game. You literally have to stay behind him and switch sides whenever he throws his shit ball over his head. We don't get anything from defeating him, but we free this yee-ass haircut guy from the ball, him being our way to the central stratum. I dived even deeper into the sewers, where I found Grape Fanta. God, it's so good, but it hurts me so much. The next area after this was pretty much a glorified find the two levers area. And with this, we go down to our next boss, the king of reactionary slop content. Insert YouTuber you dislike here. The Shit King is our first 3-phase fight of the game, and if the previous fight didn't exist, he'd take the crown of the easiest boss in the game. The drill makes his second phase pretty much redundant, the only hard part being his third phase because I have so much shit on my screen that it's hard to see. Also, why did this attack in his first phase throw rocks behind him? Is he stupid? Huh, apparently I was wrong. You don't need a field of flowers to have a sad backstory. A field of shit works just as well. We get the grappling hook from this guy, and I explore as much as I can in the lower stratum. We finally go to the central stratum. Finally, we leave the slums and we'll go to civilization. Oh goody! Genocide! We meet Gilroy, who's basically the Hornet of this game. Even though it's the first time we fight him, this is the most aggressive of the fights with him, and pretty much the only fully melee one. You can see that this is a boss you'll fight multiple times, as he only has one phase. We beat him with some difficulty. Yeah, if you didn't realize, this is where the difficulty spikes up, and we get a tuner arts, which are basically ultimates. We could go two ways, either the mage school or the steel district. I decided to go to school. Thank God I have a drill and not a gun in here. We very quickly get to a boss that is basically just a glorified enemy. And we move on to... I hate my life. We do eventually get to Wooga! Holy shit, who was the guy who designed this character? And where is he? So I could shake his hand. The one with which he designed her. Not the other one. It was pretty hard to focus while fighting her. But after I got over it, yeah, she's on one hand I like her moves and her drip is immaculate. On the other hand, she has a freeze move and spawns this annoying drone to heal herself in her second phase. I like her though. Being hot aside, she's a really fun boss that I was looking forward to while playing this again. The one really good thing is that if you knock her out of the sky, she'll take a lot of damage. From her memories, we find out that Gilroy loves to manipulate, mansplain and manslaughter, and she teams up with us. And now, we are one person away from the ultimate team. Also, why do two of the guys in my party look like they could be from gacha games? With this place mostly done, I went off to the Steel District. In here, I also find one of my favorite relics. It lets me accumulate 2 attuner arts, and it fills them by 2% every 4 seconds. Eventually, we do get to the arena tower, and see that our next boss is actually a boss rush. And here, we see the glaring weakness of this build, ranged enemies. We see it clearly because the second boss, who is supposed to be the easiest of the bunch, is the one I died the most on. At the end of the run, that you have to do each time you die, we have number 7, a Ronin guy. As usual, we live in a pre-Virgil era, so a guy with a sword must have a judgment cut move. Surprisingly, he has only one phase. It's kinda disappointing because he's really fun and really flashy. Yeah, you know, good thing the shit king got 3 phases, eh? We learn that he betrayed his master, who was the creator of Homunculi. Why would he though? I mean, how bad can he be really? I see. Painful experiment on his own creations. And all of them are women in kimonos and corsets. Jesus Christ, a mad scientist and an incel, pick a struggle please. And now, with number 7 in our party, we almost have our full build. We just need to put Declan, his master's experiments to rest. I'm gonna rip this guy's fucking head off, I swear. Now this is the quintessential build. Discount Virgil with the forward slash. Sexy anime gacha witch with the electric tornado. Berserk looking motherfucker with the parry. And e-boy who makes thirst traps on TikTok with the drill. All of this combined together with me. All 5 pieces coming together to create the unstoppable Exodia. Anyways, Declan destroyed me. Turns out he was not just an incel. He was actually a gym cell. I guess he also got a damage boost because I have a hot woman on my team. Or maybe he's closeted and it was because of the bird guy. I did what he did and I went to better myself, but actually better myself. I explored all around the central stratum, got some relics, items and so on. Met the child. Again, in the factory. I told you, the children yearn for the factory. She gave me a useless homunculi. Then I spent a lot of money to make myself stronger. I beat him first try after this. It turns out that money always wins. God, I love capitalism. He escaped though, and even with his last breath, he was still a piece of shit. Average red pill content creator. We then got the hook child an upgrade, and now he can smash his head through walls, but underwater. So basically just the wolf, but as I said, underwater. So this definitely violates some child abuse and child labor laws. With this, I was able to go... Okay, this is the glaring issue with this game. Every single area looks and feels the same. There's like 3 places that are different, and one of those is the worst in the game. At least, everything else is good. Anyways, I probably spent the least time in this area. I fought a mini boss that spawned minions to attack me, but that only gave me more SP to fill my attuner arts. Easy to say, I beat him the second try. Which was kind of a problem, because I met his big brother soon enough, and he had the ability to one-shot me with a lot of his moves. Probably the worst ones being the one where he brings both his hands together, and the move in his second phase where he spews fire all over the place. Besides this, it was pretty easy, since its attacks are really well telegraphed. Immediately after this, we upgrade the ground slam robot, and now we can ground slam upwards. With this, I can finally access the area that has the last movement ability in the game. But before that... Oh my god, is that Lily from the hit game Ender Lily's Quietus of the Night? Jokes aside, this is a really cool thing about this game. We not only get to meet the protagonist from the other game, but she's actually crucial in unlocking the true ending, which is the ending I'm gunning for. But we have to get one last ability. So, we get to an area that for some reason has rat spawners, like we are close to the upper stratum. Why are these things here? We are middle class, only the poors should have rat problems. Anyways, after going around the area and beating a boss that looks just like our main attack, you know, I'd feel bad in a normal playthrough, but since I never see Nola, I don't feel anything. That or I'm a psychopath. We finally get to the second Gilroy fight, and he now has 2 phases. Woo! Clap for my guy! The first phase is basically the same as the first fight, but with the addition of flying swords that he attacks with. And damn does he love to do that. In the second phase, he gets an attack that is pretty annoying though, his ground slam. A really strong and annoying move, because of the fact that its range is so big that I ended up not doing any damage to him when I parried. And nothing is less satisfying than landing a parry but not dealing damage with it. He also gets an arena-wide dash, but it's easy to dodge and for some reason he almost never uses it. So after he pushes out a second time, we upgrade our wall climb guy. What's the upgrade? Crystal I mean Swift Flight, which is basically just a worse crystal dash. With all of this, I can finally explore every nook and cranny of the Land of Fumes, or London in the 1900s. So, for the next 2 hours, I went around clearing every room that I could. With everything done, I didn't do the rooms that were annoying / not worth it. I now had to make progress for the true ending, and I did it in the most random and confusing way possible, just like I do everything in my day-to-day life. First, I went to the place where we met Yoran, beat the shit out of his partner, and descended down into the Land of Origin. In here, we find Yoran barely clinging to life, and after an area that mainly consisted of simple parkours and a few really easy bosses, we met this guy yet again, and I was ready for an epic rematch, a battle for the ages. Why is this game so fucking depressing? We beat him easily, and we get an item for the true ending and him as a new ability. I could say, well, he's not like Nola, so I could use him, but it clearly says primary right there. It doesn't even matter, we are already really OP. As I said, I did it in a really weird order. Now, I went to see that my adoptive mom was trapped in a bunch of blighted tentacles. You know, I truly believe in the saying, different strokes for different folks. But I would have rather not find this out about Lilia. But since we are too weak to save her, we first go to talk to Lily in the central stratum. And she says that she still needs to learn more about the Blight if she wants to help us. So, we go to the last Land of Origin area, also known as the worst one, since it's full of secret areas that you have to find to progress, and these annoying bosses that one-shot me. But hey, every dark cloud has a silver lining. Since they inflict both frost and electricity without doing damage to me, which means that this relic actually has a use in this game. only in this area, but still. With a 20% increase to my damage, I was the one basically one-shotting them. At the end of this area, we find... How the fuck did you get in here? Okay, yeah, this child is like a master traveler. She's been in almost every area in the most hard to reach places possible. And she gives us a tablet with ancient text? Bro, she's like the MVP of this game. With this, we could finally go and learn from Lily how to disperse the blight. And we do so, freeing Lilia in the process, but not before learning that Nola's name is actually Magnolia, and the game pretty much revolves around her. What a twist! Okay, Lilia suggests we do a star versus the forces of evil and destroy all magic in the land. But unlike in that cartoon, it won't mean the death of all humanculi, just the interruption of their eternal life, which will make them basically human. She gives us a ring that normally would give Nola the coolest attuner art in the game, but for us it just occupies a relic space for no reason. Kinda like Grimm Child in the Grimm fights in Hollow Knight. Now, to get to the upper stratum, we have to get 2 halves of a key. We find Gilroy's half close to the summit, and we find the other one in the worst area in the game. By going here, we can go into the Frost's old estate, which is our old stomping ground. And surprise surprise, this area is just as bad as the one it's connected to. I specifically hate the fishes in here. We meet a child who wasn't as lucky as us, and she gives us the other half of the key. We also take her on our journey, but I decided against using her. And like, not only because she isn't the best, she also looks like she's in pain while you use her. And as much as I like seeing people suffer, I draw the line at children. Unlike Genshin players. The last area is the most visually distinct out of all of them. Unlike the greys and browns of the other areas, this one is dominated by white and gold, especially in the more important rooms. The only gripe I have with it is that they didn't reskin the lasers. Like, come on, just make them golden and we are good. We passed through here pretty quickly, beating a mini-boss that gave me a taste of a painful mechanic, and we get to the room before Gilroy. Now, what did I do? Well, if anyone that got here watched any of my other challenges, they noticed a lack of something. Farming. So that's exactly what I did. But I didn't farm for levels like in Ender Lilies. This time it was for vials to make this build. This is a build focused on increasing the damage to the point where I melt every single enemy in seconds. Now, I'd love to say that I beat him. First try, and I was done with this. But wearing the ring makes him have 4 phases, each harder than the other. And remember the painful mechanic I mentioned like a minute ago? Yeah, that's pairing. I wish a blight and plagues upon the crops of the people who decided that this move should exist. Same with the ones who coded it. Especially to the guys who said, you know, pairing is pretty good already. But just to make it insane, let's give Gilroy a parry that once activated summons tracking ice shards. Not to mention that for the better part of his last phase, the arena looked like this. Let's do this.
Paris est loin, Paris rester renu.
With this done, we destroy the seal, and under a starry sky of crying stars, we stay in front of a magnolia, knowing that this is not the end, but the beginning. And with this, the challenge is finally over. I strongly recommend this challenge. It was fun, and a pretty good way to replay this game. I don't know when there will be another challenge on this channel, since lately I've been kinda doing whatever. But I must thank you for watching until this point, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye!